Right, I'm just going to go for a short walk up to the golf course wall and across to the Marsden quarry, because I've got to try this camera to see if it's going to record pointing straight out, because the way this harness sits against my chest, I need the camera to be pointing slightly up towards the sky, because I can't push the camera any further back, because when you put the camera inside the hard plastic protective casing, whichever device that you screw the screw plug into, it makes it hard to get the camera rotating farther back, so that's pointing, so you can get it pointing, directly straight forward, which can be a problem. Now I'm turning it to the side. It's slightly pointing forward now because the bar that I've put on the bottom of this chest harness is actually keeping the bottom of the harness away from your chest, so it's literally pointing slightly upward. Now I've pressed record, and obviously it's gone off the front screen now, which obviously I've turned them off so the battery lasts a lot longer. Now I'm just going to go for a quick walk up to the golf course. Right, bin man's been, so everybody's getting their bin back in. Right, so I've changed my settings from 1080p to 4K 30 frames per second instead of 1080p 60 frames per second wide. So it's now set to 4K 30 frames per second wide, just to see what it's going to be recording like. And I'm just walking the same speed I normally do when I go on my hikes. I'm just trying to keep me camera pointing straight ahead, basically, so I can record everything I'm looking straight at. So I've got left, right, up and down. So I'm walking slightly uphill now anyway, so my camera's leaning back a bit. I've been trying for months to get a decent pair of boots that won't squash my toes, and my toes won't go into the toe caps and start creating bloody ingrown toenails or just painful tips of your toes. So I finally bought a pair of YDS temperate air crew boots, which I've had before in the past. I've got black pairs, but they're only size 9 and they're too tight on my toes, so I've had to go 2 sizes up. And I've got a pair of size 11 YDS boots, Swift temperate, and they're very, very comfortable, lightweight. They're very waterproof because you've got the inner insert of the boot all leather right throughout the tongue area, so there's no water gets in when you're wading through water and river fords, etc., etc. You're welcome. They've come from the riding stables on Lizard Lane at Whitburn there, at the far end of this path. You hit the main road and turn right and go up the hill, and that's where the stables are, past the Whitburn Golf Club. Right, so as you can see, there's still water puddles on these bloody paths, so it's all still churned up in soft mud and mush. So sometimes when it's that bad on this main area, I go inside the wall there and just walk alongside inside the wall to escape these bits of bad bits. You can see where bikes have gone off to the left and driving through the bloody mud. But now I've got my high-lace boots on, it doesn't matter about me wading through bloody mud. But this is what I normally do, go along here. as I'm getting older, and because I walk with a limp naturally normally because of my stroke, because I'm getting older now, I'm just walking even more stiff now these days. So I walk slowly and bob up and down because of the limp I've got, and because I haven't been out for a few weeks, like properly going on long hikes, my legs at the back of the calf muscles just ache. So what I've got to do is start going out again on a regular basis, even if it's just short walks like this, to get my legs back to strength and my muscles used to the pounding of the walking up the hills and down. Right, so I'm just going to go off to the right and go over towards the golf course wall. But I think I'll go over to the far end to go over the top of Marsden Quarry, the old quarry, and point my camera down towards the coastline where the caravan, static caravan centre is, and our very famous Marsden Rock, where all the birds nest on the top of it. Right, so basically this is just an exercise to see what my footage is going to turn out like, because obviously, like I say, I can't tilt my camera back, so it's pointing forward at the moment. It's slightly pointing down, but I should still get quite a bit of the what's above us to the left and right as I'm walking along. But I just want to do this bit filming to see what it's going to be like when I do go out hiking, to see if it's going to be worth putting on my YouTube channel. So with the sun being out, skies are blue for a change. So far so good. I haven't seen any chemtrails. So far so good yet. So this is just my typical way that I walk with the dog when I've got bay. But yeah, at these size 11s, they've got loads of room at the toe caps, and when you fasten the lace right up your shins as well. Obviously you can wade through deep puddles of water or walk through fords where the river's going over the top of concrete paths or roads without getting your feet wet. And for more comfort, I always wear 2 pairs of socks with these type of boots. I just wear a pair of normal everyday sports socks, and then on top of that I put me woolen hiking socks on as well, so I've got plenty of support around my leg for when the leather gets tightened around it. So see, I've just done a short walk and I'm starting to feel it already, because I'm going uphill and I'm getting out of breath because I'm getting older. So what I've got to do, because I'm getting older, is I've got to go to these places where I can drive to my location as close as I can, so that I've only got a short walk to go and see my location and where I want to go and see once I leave the car. Right, so there's views over towards the foreshore. There's the red, the groin, the lighthouse, the red lighthouse on the groin. There you've got your new wind turbines out to sea there. If you look right over there, you can see St Mary's Lighthouse, the white lighthouse, and beyond that, further around the coast, you can see Blythe Power Station. Right. So you've got quite beautiful views up here. It's high up. Now I would normally go down that way and go through a gap in the wall and then take the path round and drop down at the bottom of Marsden Quarry, but the paths are just absolutely matted with mud and water. So I'm going to go across and down from the top end. I'll take the zigzag path down at the bottom. Failing that, what you've got to do, if you don't want to do that way or go that way through the wall, you've got to stick to the bottom path, go ahead until you get to the path where you can squeeze through, and you just go over a bit of a mound and then you're into the Marsden Quarry further along that way, which is much easier to do. Right. So there's the old Marsden Quarry straight ahead, and the pathway that you take up or down is at the far end. It goes up and across in a Z shape, so it makes it easier to get up or down. Just got to watch you don't trip over because you're quite high up. Last thing you want to be doing is going down 75 feet to the bottom, hit your head on rocks. You'll be in a sad, sorry state. Right, so obviously there's the golf course just over there, and if I look behind us you can see the very famous Cleadon water tower, which is the highest point in South Shields. So whenever you're coming back to South Shields, when you see the water tower, you know you're nearly home. It's like when you're driving along the A1 coming home and you pass the Angel of the North metal statue, you know you're nearly home as well. So that's another famous marker coming to the northeast here. Now, because I've got the camera set to 4K, it means the cameras heat up a lot more than they do on 1080p, and your files become absolutely massive. So when it comes to uploading them, it takes more time obviously to do that. So right, so I'm just going to take a shortcut through this gorse here. I think I can get through. I think this is where I came through before, when I came up the way from Marsden Quarry. I was coming back this way. But that's the way I normally walk up there, where that man is with the red coat and the white hat. I just walk up that way with the dog, then turn where he's gone and go back down that main path that I've just come up, back down towards the White Horse pub. But I just thought I'd extend my walk and go over to the top of Marsden Quarry and then point my camera down to the foreshore there where the static caravan site is. And then beyond that you can just see the top of Marsden Rock. Right, so obviously this is just an exercise walking along through rough ground, just to see how my camera image stabilization's going to react. Right, so I'm sure this is where I cut through after coming back across the top of the cliffs. Normally this gets really overgrown with these brambles and thick barbed and these things here with the spikes on hurt your legs. Kind of come to you with shorts on. Get your legs ripped a bit. So basically all I'm doing is gearing up ready for going out hiking again with Bear in the car, so that I know when I turn on the camera it goes into video mode and not photo, and then I know I can just press record, check the screen to see if it's started, and you get the red light on in the corner saying it's recording. Then once you've done that, just got to keep checking to see if your battery's still going. I've set the beeps back on for a beep once it goes off like I used to, so I've got a warning that I know I've got to stop, press stop recording, and put a new battery in wherever it went off. So it's a continuation of recording. See all the bike tyre tracks going through here. But you can see how bad it gets when it really overgrows. It's quite slippy down here, so I'll just take my time. I do want to fall over in these brambles and have to put my hand down in them and rip the skin. I think that's a woman. I thought it was a man. You cannot tell these days. Not until you're close up. Right, this will take us around the top edge of the instead of going over there and take that path there. You can go further on and then just start heading across that grass area, and it takes you over to the corner. I'm just going to cut along here to the top of the cliffs. See, this is a good area to take your dog as well, because once you're inside at the bottom, inside the old quarry, the dog is miles away from any roads, main roads, and there's 2 people down there now, several dogs walking their dogs. In fact, I know that couple, they've got the collie dogs, and one of them's got the 2 different coloured eyes. Nice people. There's your little sofa, concrete chair. Now that's the way you normally come in, but the pathway down to go past that concrete chair is absolutely clotted in mud and water. So that's why I've come this way, to drop down that Z path where that spray painting is on the wall. Drop down there. But when you walk along to the edge at the top, and you can point your camera right down, got some nice views down towards Marsden Beach. So basically where I live, I'm only a 10 to 15 or 10 to 12 minute walk to the beach. So I'm lucky in that sense. Born and bred in South Shields, and that's why I'm called a sand dancer. If you're born and bred in South Shields, you're a sand dancer. That's SANDANCER, sand dancer, all one word. In fact, we've got a pub on the coastline called Sand Dancer. Right, so you can see it's a fantastic place for bringing your dog and just letting the dog run backwards and forwards, chucking sticks, because the nearest main road is another quarter of a mile away once you're in the middle of there. And there's nothing over this way, just the golf course. So, safe place to take your dog. I used to come along here with my Nikon P900, and it's 83 times zoom, so I could zoom right over to those the flats over in North Shields, and the lighthouse, St Mary's Lighthouse. Zoom right into them and take pictures of it from here. There's only 2 problems with the P900 for me personally. One, they're big and bulky, so they're heavy when you hang them around your neck on the shoulder straps. And 2, it's only got 16.1 megapixel when it comes to taking photographs. But whereas my Nikon B700 bridge camera, that's got 63 times zoom, and it's 20.3 megapixel camera shots. So that's why I prefer the smaller one, because one, I can manipulate and use it much easier with one hand with being disabled, and it's not a ton weight hanging on my neck when I drop it down on my straps, hanging on my neck. Right, so I just got to go across to that corner straight ahead, and then start dropping down the Z path to get back down at the bottom. Once again, I just got to be careful when I go to do the step downs, in case I lose my balance and go rolling forward and splash off the rocks dropping down, because like I say, you're quite high when you're on the top. So you can see where the people walk along the wall, and then they just cut across this grass track here and come into the gorse bushes, and that's where your path starts going down there. So, and that's that path there straight ahead where those people are. That's where you come off the bottom path and come over the top of the hill up here, and that's the best way to come over, because there's not mud and water, not like that corner pathway. That's terrible, that. And that pathway, if you take that all the way down, it takes you to an entrance where you can get down onto the main road, which is Lizard Lane. Like I say, that goes up towards the Whitburn Golf Club and the horse riding stables, where those kids came along on the horses. That's where they come from, just over there to the right. That looks like a jack-up rig coming in. Probably going up the River Tyne there for work done onto it. That's what I used to work on, jack-ups, when I worked for Santa Fe. Then eventually I went to KCA because I got a promotion from roughneck to assistant derrickman, obviously for more money. Oh, look at this, man, it's all clatty and probably slippy as hell. So you can see where people have kept to the right here. Try and keep out the soft mud. You can see where people have started to skid. But this is the views that you command from up here. So if you look straight across the top of the standard caravan roofs, you can see all the birds nested on the top of Marsden Quarry, Marsden Rock, sorry, and you can see all the birds circling it. Every kind of seagull, guillemots, yeah, forgetting having a quarter of the bloody names of the birds. Just nice and easy. Oh man. Right. Once I didn't trip over these bits of rocks, boulders, clag. It sucks on your boot and keeps out here, so when you try to lift your boot and move off, it's got a hold of it so far. Wait. Whoa, slurp, suction. Right, so what I'm going to do is just go along to the end of the pathway here, and then just turn around and point my camera down towards Marsden Rock there. Whoa, I'm sliding all over. You see the sun's behind us because my shadow's stretching out in front of us there. So the sun behind us is on the east coast. That's east. I mean, this is the northeast coast that we live on. South Shields, northeast coast. Right, so this is where you come up from, and this is where you go down. You go down that rock and then turn left and then drop down the next section, then turn right and drop down the next section, and so on and so on. And that's just an alternative way to go down and then drop down at the bottom grass over there. So So throughout the day, people are always coming into here with their dogs, let their dogs off and let them run ragged in here to get that exercise that they need. Oh yeah, but as soon as I stretch my foot and take off from my back foot, that's when I start going over. My balance is absolutely terrible. So when I'm this high up, I've got to really watch what I'm doing, because the last thing I need is just to begin doing there and falling on a rock at the bottom, break all your body bones. Right, so when I was younger, I wouldn't worry about going to the edge of the rock there and just drop down, sit down on the edge and just enjoy the views. But I'm a bit more wiser now because my balance is terrible. So I wouldn't go any further than I am now, and I feel safe because it's quite flat where I'm standing. So I can just gently turn around and point my camera down. You can't really see the rock clearly now because I've dropped down a bit, but it's just through the left hand side of the caravans there, through the houses. You can just see the top of it, where that red delivery van's going, Iceland. That's Grotto Gardens, because you go to the bottom of that and there's a cut through, drops you down on the coast road where you cross over to go to the Marsden Grotto pub. There's some other guy coming down with his dog, and there's that couple that I know with their dogs. Right. Right, so I've got to go back to that path where you started going down the zigzag path to go down. Right, so obviously this battery was fully charged up there. I put it in the camera. It's a GoPro 12 battery, and you normally get an hour and 25 minutes from the battery if you're doing 1080p, 60 frames per second. But like I say, I've changed it up so I get a bit more colour and get better quality colours when you're picking out the greens of the grass and the gorse bushes with the yellow flowers, don't you? You get proper colour and better quality capture. Right, let me just drop down here, I think. It's all dry here, there's no mud. So I've just got to lean down, get a hold of the rocks and then drop my foot down. So my camera's going to be on a funny angle at the moment till I get back on my feet and stand up. Right, so I'll just keep hold of these rocks going down here, because the last thing I want to be doing is falling down there to the left, down there towards those big bushes. So you can see why dog owners like to come down here and just let their dogs off to go roam free and run around. I mean, if I could trust him more than I do, I would bring him here and just let him off and run around. But if he sees dogs like this, we go running up the dogs and want to play with them, and that's when it gets difficult for me to get him back. Bugger. I mean, I kind of get angry because obviously that's what dogs do. They like to play with other dogs. I mean, when you consider that like big kids, he's just like a big naughty child. Right. Right, this is a nice little sun trap here, sitting here. You could sit on this rock and you've got the sun shining down on you. Just sit here. So obviously you get bird watchers coming up here as well with a big telescopic lenses for picking out different birds of prey that come here to visit and start making a nest in the cliffs high up, away from predators. Right, let's go down the next section. This is what I call the zigzag Z path, because it goes up and down in a Z shape in stages, like I say, to make it easier for getting up or down. Right, this is where I'll have to put my hand down again as well. Oh man. Right. And then step down here sideways. I've got all the tricks in the in the book to stop me falling forward and rolling all the way down there. I wish I didn't have this disability, but I've had to learn to live with it since I had my stroke. I had a heart attack in 2008 and then I had my stroke in 2012, and I've just had to live with it and just find ways to cope from that day on. I was at work and had gone outside into the yard for a fire drill, and I had a bit of paper in my hand, and all of a sudden it just dropped. I mean, there's no weight in a bit of paper, so that's when I had me TIA. Then I just felt like shit, just like I'd been on the drink all night and woke up feeling queasy. Then when I went home from work, I felt okay, and I was decided to knock about with the ball in the front garden with the Ben, my ex-wife's son. So, and then the next day on the Sunday, I drove to my sister's house and I was sitting there in a settee, and all of a sudden I come over all queasy again. And I says, Pauline, there's something wrong, there's something not right here. And that's when I decided to drive to the hospital, and that's when they did blood tests and stuff like that, and they said, oh, you've had a small stroke, like a TIA. I thought, all right. They said, you're young to have something like this, 47. I said, I know, well, I don't smoke, don't drink, quite fit, I've been playing football, I do all sports at school, weight training, cross-country running. So I think that's why I recovered as good as I did, because I was in quite a fit situation when it happened. So that allowed my body to fight back at it and get back out the wheelchair and start walking as quick as I did. Right, that's me near enough down on the bottom now. So now I just go over that hillock, drop down at the main path and just walk straight along, right along the bottom, and go back to the White Horse pub and home. And by that time, that's enough footage to